Hey there, welcome to the video. We've got a controversial topic. We've got a topic that is potentially inflammatory, a topic that potentially will make people very angry and post angry things, okay? But it's important to know why I do these videos. I do them to try to help. I do them because things have happened to me in my trading and I want to share. I mean, yes, it's nice to get that $2.50 check or whatever it is I get from YouTube, but that's not really the point, okay? The point is to help. So take this video and think about it. Don't get mad. Don't start posting, but think about it because I want it to help, all right? And furthermore, we're all taught that our counts need to go up and that growth stocks are the best and we need to pick the next winner, and it's hundreds and thousands and millions of ad to try to pick the next big winner, the next 10 bagger. Everything since I fell in love with trading has been pick the next winner, okay? But look at this. This is SMCI, Super Micro. This is a real problem. This is a real problem for people who want to make real money. And that's what we're going to talk about. Now, don't get me wrong. If you love bragging online and Reddit or wherever else, growth stocks are the best, right? If you want to brag to strangers, why do I say that? Because people brag to me. Oh, you know a little bit about trading? Man, I was in Amazon in 1998. You know, they love saying that. No context. I don't care, particularly, right? I mean, I'm always happy to hear your success, but I don't care about some random stock pick from 10 years ago. But if you do want to brag to strangers, again, growth stocks are the best. But if you want to be financially free, I mean, isn't that why we're here? We want to be financially free. Well, yikes, right? As we'll see, there's a real problem out there. There is a huge downside because growth stocks might be the worst, okay? Here's the true measure. You don't need to take advice from a stranger on the internet, but I'm going to give you a tip anyway that's changed my life. Don't buy things because you want to buy them. Only look at things that change your day-to-day life. If you bought it, does it change your life tomorrow? Do you use it every day? Is your life better off today than it was yesterday because of this thing? And it works every time. So ignore it if you want, but it works every time. Okay. Buying new things, very fun, right? It's always fun to show off. I got a new car. I got a new house. Come see it. Come see it. Come see everything. But eventually, of course, the purchase high dies down and you're left with what? Day to day. You buy a car that you don't drive that sits in the sits in the garage with a guitar, of course. If it just sits in the garage, I mean, what good is it while I'm eating my pancakes, right? It doesn't do anything. And what is, dun dun dun, the day-to-day life of growth investing? Well, let me lay out a potential scenario. Not every time, but let me lay it out, okay? Let's say you're in a losing trade right now on NVIDIA, okay? You bought it because everyone at the start of 2025 was bullish. And guess what's happened in 2025 so far, right? But if you're in a losing trade right now, you bought it early in January and you're suffering, okay? Your everyday life is rough right now. You bought this to change your life and it's down and struggling. It's terrible right now. And this is March 2025, right? Okay, well, you're not a buy and hold investor. You're a trader. You got rules. You've got systems. Okay, I've studied systems for 20 years. Okay, let's say you're trading a system on NVIDIA. Well, if it's a breakout system, if you're long only, then it's loss. I mean, look, there are no breakouts or there are no sustained breakouts, right? And I'm not aware of anyone who has a short only system on NVIDIA, right? That would be a crazy person. So if you're in a system, loss. If you're in a trade, losing. And that's every day. That's what you wake up to every day. But let's not even say that, right? Of course, that's obvious. Let's talk about if you're in a winning trade. Let's say somehow you bought it perfectly. You bought some sort of dip and you're up on it right now. Okay. Yay, growth investing works. But does it? If you're in If you're in a winning trade on a growth stock, growth name, what are you doing? What's your everyday? With all of the swings up and down and one of the fastest drops, a 10% drops in stock market history, what are you doing every day if you're in a trade right now? You're reading the news, right? And the news is horrifying. Oh my gosh, if you've read the news. I can't even read the news every day. I don't even want to. It's so outrageous. Should I sell? Will my stock go up? What about the tariffs? So what about stagflation? What is stagflation? How do I get back in? Okay, I'm going to sell it, but how do I get back into my stock? The SPY is now below the 200. Does that matter? Can I buy? Is it a good buying opportunity or should I stay out? What's the bullish and bearish regime? How do I define that? And by the way, if you want to just do value, it's just as bad because the PE ratios are historically super high still. And on and on and on. That's your everyday life if you're winning. And yeah, it sounds awful, right? Indeed it does. Okay. But meanwhile, while you're going through all these problems and all these anxiety-inducing periods and reading all these headlines, there are bills to pay, right? The bills aren't going to wait for NVIDIA to come back up or anything else to come back up. It's due this month. It's due the next month. And like SMCI, I've barely made any money on my hypothetical big trade, right? Remember, we're assuming I'm in a winning trade, but there's no way I'm up huge in it. Not if you bought it recently. There's no way. So I'm up in it, but I've barely made any money. Or specifically, let's go back even farther. I was in SMCI way back on the initial breakout, and I was up 200%. Oh, now I'm basically break even. That doesn't pay the bills, and it also doesn't lead to much mental happiness, correct? So, where does the money come from? Not only to buy my growth stock, but where does the money come from to pay my bills? Where do I get the money if I'm at break even? I was in SMCI for over a 200% gain. What good does that do me today when I'm not up 200% and I've still got to pay the bills? Okay, I can hear you. You could just sell the winners and there's money. Ha, problem solved. But what then? You made a great pick. You read Reddit. It gave you the tips you needed. What then? Okay. If it were me and I sold when I was up over 100%, yay. But what then? What do I do then? Where do I get the money for my bills the next month? It's over. My trade's over. I made 100%, but I'm not making anything today. I haven't traded. Okay, well, I made over 100%, so I've got plenty of money in the account. Okay, but it's going to run out in a few months, right? Why do you think actors are so angsty, right? They make 10 million for a film or 1 million or whatever they're paid, depending on their role, but they're not getting paid tomorrow. And eventually the money runs out and they got to go back to work. Same thing for a trade. You got paid, but where do you get the money tomorrow? Well, if it were me and I had just had my big winner, but I closed it out because I'm so smart, right? I took my profit. I'm the best. But I don't think I can trade right now. Who's going to take a growth trade right now? Well, it's a great buying opportunity. And again, more headlines. I don't care about that, right? Probably I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I think I'll stay out. The SPY is below the 200. I think I'm going to stay out. What do I do? What does searching for growth do for me? And how do I pay the bills tomorrow or next week? Here's a real life example. I'm not just talking from a mountaintop, right? Poet, P-O-E-T. Okay, I've talked about this before in the free newsletter and so forth. Back on 1/21/2024, I was deeply interested in value. Why? Because value has always been, I grew up reading Warren Buffett, so I love value investing. I love picking that downtrodden stock. I love it. And value had been doing horrifically in the past several years, right? So I created a deep value screen because I'm so smart. And I ran it on TradeStation. I ran the screen, right? And it scans all the stocks and it spit out 3 names. 3 stocks came up. And one of those 3, which I've shared before, was Poet Technologies, POET. I mean, and it was awesome, right? Check this out. This was back in 2024, right? This is when I ran the scan, and look at my genius. And if you look over here on my TradingView chart, currently it's up 292%. That's it. That's what we all are told we want, and that's what we all think we want. You can't get better than that. Okay, so what's the problem? Well, I ran a scan in January 2024. 3 names came up. How much money am I really going to put on that trade? How much money are you going to put on that trade from a scan that you created by yourself, that you ran on a random day in January? You going to put $100,000 on it? Are you going to split it between the 3? Are you going to split it between the 14 other stocks you have? Are you going to split it between the 5 that have got real estate, and you've got gold, and you've got crypto, and how much money are you going to put on POET, right? So no way. And furthermore, remember, it was a value pick, so it was beaten down. The chart on Poet when I bought it was ridiculously horrible. Small name, about $1. It's like a penny stock, right? Seriously, how much money is anyone going to put on that, right? So right off the bat, even though I've just chosen an unbelievable winner, Poet is as good or better than just about anything out there, from Palantir to NVIDIA to SMCI to anything. Poet is as good or better, as you'll see on the chart, right? Or as we saw. But I can't bet on it because I'm scared, as I should be. So I put 1/20th of my account size on it. Whoop-de-doo, Basil, right? Furthermore, even though I'm too scared, rightly so, to put money on it, when do I sell? Let's take a look. Here's that chart, right? Remember, I bought it way back in here. Well, look at this. I am the biggest genius in the world. And look at this, right? So I bought around 1, and now it's almost $3. That is a win by any metric. And look at this, right? This is a weekly chart. Huge green, everything's perfect. Huge rise, and then a huge fall way below where it entered that week. That is what you call a climax top. Look it up. And that is a sell. Okay. But what do I do then, right? So let's say I held on or I just missed it. And look at this. How would you hold in that 4-week period? You wouldn't. But let's say you did because you're in Fiji or something, right? Well, you were paid off. And then another huge gap up and fall down. So you sell here. Well, maybe you didn't. Okay, well, this went all the way up. We started at 1, now we're all the way up at 6, and then it fell all the way back. That is a climax top, right? That is a sell signal. Read anything that tells you how to trade. And no. Okay, so we stayed in. Let's just say, okay, how about this? Finally. All right, we got back where we were. We've got to go now. Oh, look, it's red. I got to get out. All these are sells. All of them should be sells. And nope, you stayed in and look at that. Now we're up near $8 from $1. This is as good as it gets. I told you. And then look at that. You selling anytime in there? Like, when do you sell? Oh, how about this? It comes down to the 200 simple moving average, which even it's on a weekly chart. So that's a super, super duper long-term chart. So now it's below you could call that fair value, right? Which I have in my trading systems. So now it's below. You're going to get out there? Oh, and now it's fallen some more. It's up 290% since the beginning of the chart. But that is a nightmare. Which is why I titled it that way. That's terrible. There is no good, clear place to sell. Well, actually there is, but then the trade's over. Again, what do you do then? And all of them could be talked in or talked out of it. Okay, well, let's say you're not just going by a whim. Well, if you have concrete sell rules, how do you get back in? And if you do have get back in rules, will you take them? Are you going to take them? Right? If we go back, oh, this is falling, it's falling. I'm going to take the next breakout. Are you? I mean, it's debatable, right? Okay. And especially when the stock starts cratering, right? Especially, like, am I going to get back in here on this bar after all this? Right? Okay. But even though it seems borderline impossible to ride this thing perfectly, even if I did, which isn't probably impossible, even if I did it, it's a tiny amount of money because I only used 1/10, 1/20th of what I actually have because I was too scared. And again, I should have been. So I did it perfectly. I won. I still have bills to pay month after month after month. So what really happened? I sold it. I think it was 48%. It was something like that. 48%, I think. I did look this up. I'm pretty sure that's true. It wasn't 100 and it wasn't 50. So I won. Yay. I'm so smart. It was a minuscule amount of money. No surprise. All right. There's no reason for me to put a lot on it. So I won. I haven't gotten back in. Never wanted to. This is a great growth story. You can't get really better than this. And what's the overall effect? It had zero effect on changing my everyday life. Yay, growth investing. Okay, I don't want to give you a problem without a solution. There's plenty of high yield videos on my channel now, but let's talk about the opposite of growth real quick. QDTE. It's just a covered call options, right? It sells covered calls or it sells options on a daily basis. Well, let's take a look, okay? The CAGR is better than SPY. Beat the market, right? And this is since 2024. Well, that's great. So we did have some growth, but look what we get. Money coming in. Money coming in. Money is coming in. If I made 30% yield on my investment, 30 grand a year on a $100,000 investment, does that change my life? Can I pay bills with $30,000 a year? I think you know the answer, right? So the bottom line is this. Warren Buffett said it, and I'm paraphrasing it, but you need to think about it seriously. If you can't make money while you sleep, you're forced to work a job for the rest of your life. You're basically in prison the rest of your life. So answer me. How does growth investing make money while you sleep? How? Well, stock picking doesn't. If you have to wake up and pick the stock, if you got to wake up and run the screen, if you got to wake up and read the headlines, if you got to manage a trade, that is not working when you sleep. Well, you could say I set the stops and I go to bed. Okay, still work. Still work. Now, maybe that's fine for you, and that's fine with me. Okay. Now, you could say, oh, I won't do a stock. I'll do an ETF and just buy and hold it. Oh, growth ETFs can fall off a cliff too, right? You're not making money when you sleep if you're losing money when you sleep, right? No, I get it. It's fun to brag. It's fun to say I picked it. It's fun to say I told you so. It's fun to look at your account and not see red. I get it. But where do I get the money? Not only to buy it, but to pay my bills. A paper win in my account is not paying my bills. A stock I sold out of that now has been used up does not pay my bills. A losing growth stock does not pay my bills. Where do I get the money? And again, how do I make growth when I sleep? Finish with some examples. SMH, huge growth. Semiconductors, right? Hottest thing in the world. Here's SMH in 2022. How do I make money? It's down 26%. How do I make money? Oh, and here's SMH in 2025. It's down 11%. How do I make money, right? This is growth investing. And what do you see? Yeah, yikes, right? So, again, just trying to help. Don't be angry. I give the code away for any automated strategies to talk about. Obviously, nothing today. There is a new dividend income program where I focus on stuff that pays you. And that started in January if you're interested. And what does Morgan have to say? He's very thankful. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next video.